All cats old enough to catch their own prey gather here beneath the podcast for a clan meeting. Welcome to Paws Clause, a podcast where we read the Warrior Cats books in chronological order. I'm Jill, joined by my co-host and Dodger Defender Scout, and today we will be discussing A Vision of Shadows, Book 2, Thunder and Shadow. Scout, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Just literally, you clocked me because just this morning I was having a conversation with my mom and I was like, it's amazing that we are as high in the standings as we are, considering how much of our roster is out on the injured list right now. Like, I have become fully this has happened over the last like six to 8 months. My mom started watching baseball. Baseball became a daily thing that I saw in my life, and now I'm baseball pilled. And you're not
the only one who is baseball pilled, which is what's so funny to me. So I have never really been a baseball person.
Understandable.
I still am not a baseball person. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy growing up in Georgia because, I think it can be said that the Braves are, the only good Georgia team. And even then, what is good? Mm-hmm. Just kidding. To my UGA Bulldogs. I didn't mean to disparage you like that. But, baseball is pretty big back home. Mm-hmm. I got a cousin who played baseball when he was a kid. One of my brother-in-laws. That's so weird to think of a 15-year-old as a brother-in-law. Sorry. My brother-in-law plays baseball. I always think of him as, my husband's younger brother. I don't think of him as a brother-in-law. That's such a weird, weird tangent, but it is a weird thing to think.
It's funny to have a much younger brother-in-law. I can see what you mean. Because it's that's not sibling.
That's a child.
That's like
that kid is half my age.
He's younger than my nephews.
Yeah.
One of my nephews, at least.
That is a child half my age. That is not a brother. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway, my brother-in-law plays baseball and he's a real big fan of it. I had a student once who was really good at baseball.
Hell yeah.
And it was baseball is a pretty big thing back in Atlanta, I would say. I enjoy going to a game once in a blue moon and getting a hot dog.
Gotta get it.
Never really cared much for watching the sport.
That's fair.
Scout and our friend Tony and our friend Frey have been very baseball pilled as of late. Uh-huh. And I simply love that for them. I love the fact that our fantasy RPG Discord, which is the most bare bones Discord I think that I am in.
It's very bare bones. We have just what we need to play our TTRPG, and then we have baseball jail.
Yeah, and then there's an entire channel just for everybody to talk about baseball. And I just go in there sometimes and I just look in there because everybody else in our group is I on varying spectrums of the baseball pilled situation. And I'm just cool.
You go in there and you're I know some of these words.
It's okay though.
I hope you enjoy.
Sometimes I'll pop in and start talking about hockey, and then
that's good.
I love. Yes, none of you are on this level, but I am. I can also sports.
I'm not hockey pilled, but I do appreciate hockey, and I love to see you chat about hockey. I do enjoy hockey. I love to see I love to hear the tea. There's always some shit happening in hockey.
I fucking love when they fight so much. We went to a playoff game recently, and they did not fight as much as they had been fighting in the previous game. So that was kind of a disappointment. But one of them did throw another guy down onto the ice, and it ruled.
Let's go! Let's go. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so our team's doing pretty damn good, actually.
Nice.
Knock on wood.
Fuck yeah.
Oh shit, dude. Yeah, so we're either oh my gosh, Toronto and Florida they're playing tonight. Holy shit. Sorry. So Toronto and Florida right now are 3-3 in their 7-game series. So whoever wins tonight is who we're going to be going up against to secure a spot in the finals.
Let's go.
Yeah, so that's crazy.
I love that. I hope it goes well.
Me too. Eric, I'm not as like knowledgeable or like invested in who a player is, but I sure do love to watch a hockey game.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But yeah, it's been a good season. Been enjoying it. Went to a couple games.
Fuck yeah.
Love to go to a hockey game, even if we did have to sit at the very, very, very back.
Oh, did you get to see a Zamboni?
Like, oh, dude, always get to see a Zamboni.
Yeah,
I want to know what I have to do to get to ride the Zamboni.
Let Jill on the Zamboni.
I want to ride a Zamboni so bad. Not just ride. I would love to drive a Zamboni.
Let Jill drive the fucking Zamboni.
I would settle for riding a Zamboni. I just think it'd be fun.
It would be. I love to see the way that the ice is smooth.
Me too.
It's very satisfying.
It's so cool. It's very, very nice. Man, sports. That's what everybody comes to this podcast.
Welcome to our Warrior Cats podcast.
Welcome to our sports podcast where we talk about sports.
We're pivoting. You'd never see it coming.
Yeah,
we're pivoting. This is going to become a sports podcast now.
Sports only zone.
Even in sports, though, I still have a pathetic little meow meow.
No, that's so true. No, it was so funny. There was, when we were at the game, there was one moment. Oh, sorry.
Jill's dropping things.
Oh, God.
You got this, Jill. Their headphones came off.
My yarn got tangled up in my chair.
Oh, no.
There was a moment at the hockey game where they were like, you could see it on the Jumbotron. They were getting up close to each other. I just yelled, just kiss. Like, yeah. Who's your current pathetic meow meow of baseball?
My pathetic meow meow of baseball is 2025 Dodgers Major League Baseball rookie, fresh from the Japanese, like Major League Baseball equivalent league, pitcher Roki Sasaki.
Nice.
Who has had some, it's been a lot of pressure for him. He's had some rough starts as a pitcher. And oh my God, every time they do a close up on his face, I'm like, that man looks so nervous. He's sweating so much. He looks so stressed. He looks so sad. He instills in me exactly the same feeling that like seeing an abandoned animal does. Like that's the way that
oh Lord.
That's the emotional response I have to him. He's been doing well, he's injured now, of course, because everybody on the fucking Dodgers is injured now. Well, everybody's injured. Welcome to the fucking Los Angeles Dodgers. Everyone's injured. Instead of everybody's here, everyone's injured. Yeah, it happens. But our pitching roster. We should talk about cats. Anyways, Roki Sasaki, I hope you're doing okay. You please never hear this. That would be the most mortifying thing in the world.
Or do hear this and invite Scout to a game.
I would simply evaporate into dust. Welcome to Warrior Cats. How is the prey running?
The prey is running all right. I had a horrible moment today.
Oh no.
My tea, as I told you earlier. Dear listeners, I had a bottle of a pomegranate lemonade tea in the fridge, and I was so excited to crack that bad boy open with my lunch today, which was leftover beef and bean casserole.
Yum.
And much like the other times I have had this delicious drink, I shook the bottle well, as it instructed me to do, and when I twisted the cap, it exploded everywhere. And I said, now what the heck? That's not supposed to happen.
That's not supposed to happen.
And my lovely husband looked at me and he said, are you sure you're supposed to shake that? And I said, yes, I am, because I've shaken every single other one of these. Curious, I took a sip. It was incredibly carbonated. And so we're pretty sure, based on a brief Google search and a foray into a Reddit thread, the prevailing belief is that my tea somehow fermented in the bottle.
Hey, it's not supposed to do that. Well, I am terribly sorry about this misfortune.
Oh, no, it's, it happens. Other than that, Prey's been running spectacularly.
Hell yeah.
I'm hoping to get some pasta salad.
Oh, it's getting to be pasta salad season.
It's pasta salad season, baby. Oh, it's so hot outside.
Oh, we had a couple hot days last week and then it cooled off again, but the heat is coming. I can feel it. It's simmering just beneath the surface. We're about to enter the, 6 to 8 months of the year where I'm like, it's too hot outside.
Yeah, I literally told my therapist the other day, I was like, we're entering the part of the year where I don't leave the apartment. I stay inside as much as possible.
Hermit hours.
He was like, you know what? That's fair.
Hermit hours. Yeah. It's too dang hot.
But the great thing is there's so many, there's some good movies coming out this summer that I'm very excited about.
That's true.
So going to the movie theater is a nice thing to do when it's hot as fuck out there.
Yeah, because it's fucking cold at a movie theater. You go to the movie theater.
Well, not ours, weirdly enough.
Oh, really?
Ours are not cold anymore. But it is dark and it is inside. Yeah. So that, I'll take what I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I haven't been to the movie theater in a long time, but I remember just fucking freezing in the AMC all the time. They got that AC blasting.
I miss when they had the AC blasting.
I wonder why they don't got the AC blasting. Budget cuts.
But yeah,
can't cool down anymore. It's too expensive.
Yeah, because of woke.
They turned off the air conditioning because of woke.
I'm just speaking the truth.
They tried to silence them.
They tried to silence me, but I will not be silenced.
Jill will never be silenced.
What about you, Scout? How's the Prey running?
Prey's running good. I got to have chicken tendies today.
Hell yeah.
I may be in my 30s, but I love a damn chicken tender with some potato wedges and a little bit of ranch dressing. You just, you can't beat it sometimes. So I got to have that for lunch.
What's your opinion on honey mustard?
Honey mustard is good. It's not my preferred dipping sauce, but I enjoy it. Barbecue sauce is the one that I'm not as big on as far as like the traditional dipping sauces go. But again, I have no malice towards it. It's just that I don't particularly enjoy it.
I have no malice towards it.
I have no malice. I don't believe I have malice towards any the Szechuan sauce, but that's because of that's not because of
the taste.
No, that's because of Rick and Morty.
The other things that are associated with it.
That's the only dipping. So it's not really the sauce's fault, I suppose. So perhaps I don't have malice towards the sauce, but I have a lingering, simmering malice towards the zeitgeist of the sauce.
You got some covers to show us.
I do have some covers to show us. All right, let's talk about cats. We got, you come here, you get everything. Cats. You get
food, you get sports, you get cats.
You get
fermentation.
This is the only Warrior Cats podcast that you can come to for fermentation. In the year 2025. You heard it here first. This first cover is the simplified Chinese cover. I wanted to talk about this one just because it feels so weird. It doesn't feel like it really goes with the book at all. I mean, it's cool. But it's this very intense image of Alderpaw at the moon pool with Yellowfang in the reflection of the water. And I'm like, this is not what a scene in the book has looked like ever, I don't think. They're doing like the Lion King, Simba sees his father in his reflection kind of thing, except it's Alderpaw seeing Yellowfang.
I don't want to doubt you because I'm sure you did your research. Are you sure that's Yellowfang?
You know, I suppose I'm not entirely sure. I think it was because I was basing it on that Alderpaw has the scene with Yellowfang, but I suppose it could be. Who do you think it is?
Well, I was just thinking possibly with the fact that the 5-pointed leaf is on the water. I'm wondering if it's
Hawkwing?
What he sees who does he see? Does he see Skywatcher or does he see Hawkwing at the end talking to?
I don't think wait, who does he talk to at the end?
He doesn't talk to anyone. He sees them. Though.
That's right. That's at the end of the at the end of the book, and I don't want to get it mixed up with the prologue of the next book, which I have read, and I think that I'm getting two different visions mixed up in my head, so I won't say anything. But it could be.
Yeah, I'm simply not certain if it's...
Let me look on...
If it's Skywatcher, if it's Hawkwing, if it's Clear Sky. I have no idea. I'm just wondering if that is Yellowfang, just because she's... The cat is not as grizzled as they tend to...
That's true.
Present her. But I looked up on the Warriors official art Tumblr.
That is also where I am going.
They only have Alderheart listed. So I just want to see if I can, now I'm looking up Yellowfang to see if I can find simplified Chinese with Yellowfang. Yeah, I found one for Rising Storm, and she is like 100% a lot more scrungly.
Oh, so maybe it isn't. Maybe it could be Hawkwing. It could be, I'm of course also basing it off of canonical coat and eye colors, which is, we know with these covers, they play Calvin Ball with that all the time. So it could
They sure do.
It could be a completely different cat.
That could be Spotted Leaf right there.
That could be any. It could be Spotted Leaf. Even though her spirit vanished from this end to all other mortal planes and spiritual. But I like how sinister Alderpaw looks here. It's like very intense. It's an extremely intense looking Alderpaw.
He's got a little stank face.
He does. He looks like you just said something that he really doesn't like. The other cover I have to talk about is, of course, the other Polish cover. As I mentioned in our last episode, there are no other Polish covers for this arc yet because they have not been released after this one, but we have this one, and boy, it's so good. It is Twigpaw and Violetpaw. The feather killed me when I noticed that the red feather is centered here on this image. Violetpaw, so cute. Violetpaw looks so sad.
That is the saddest baby I've ever seen.
That's the most fucking just despondent cat I've ever seen in my life. We can't go on another 10-minute tangent trying to figure out plants. I mean, we can.
No, I'm not allowing us to.
But I was curious. They don't look 100% like yew berries, but I was wondering if this was death berries that Violetpaw was sort of nestled with. That was my first instinct. It probably isn't, but it's evoking that for sure. And I like the blackberries with Twigpaw. And these with the matte black backgrounds are just so
I am loving them.
It's great. I'm so excited to see the rest of this series as these come out over the next couple of, over the next year or whatever, however they're releasing these.
I found the artist's Twitter.
Oh.
And they apparently had collector's cards designed for the Polish collector's editions for A Vision of Shadows. So I'm guessing more of these are coming out as we go. So I found the one for Thunder and Shadow, and then there's also one for...
It's the babies. It's the kids together. Oh.
Apprentice's Quest, which I'll link. But yeah, it's so cute. It's just the little babies, and one side of it has just a little headshot of each of them, and then the back side has the two of them playing over what looks like a line of grass. Oh, it's so
with
cute.
Their little paws touching.
They are everything to me. Oh, they're just babies.
Talk about the feeling of seeing an abandoned animal. That just happens to me throughout this entire book. I'm
honestly
I'm so excited to get into it. Oh, these are cool too. This one, with like Alderpaw drinking from the moon pool on the back of this other one. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's really neat. Very excited to see. The artist is Nora Potora. Very excited to see more of their covers, because I believe they are doing. I feel like they're doing, or did, because they did them last year and they're just now coming out. I feel like they did all of the Vision of Shadows ones.
Yeah, seems like probably they will all be done by the same artist in the same style.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous stuff.
Just delightful. Truly a treat. This artist does some, I'm just scrolling through their...
they do some excellent work.
Their work. They do this incredible piece of like a white tiger with flowers that I am obsessed with. That is their banner as well. Hell yeah. So yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got for covers. Not too many covers. I feel like we're getting into sort of an era of the books where there haven't been as many editions because they haven't been out as long. We aren't going to get as many covers that we get to look at. But I am enjoying the ones that we are getting. Again, just want to highlight the feather. The feather is just
my heart.
My heart. These sisters are so sad. Okay.
Yeah.
Should you tell us now about the sad sisters? Is it time?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at the Polish Warrior Cats Twitter. Being envious of all the cool merch that they get.
Oh. Poland really goes hard.
You know, they really do.
Because they tend to have a lot of like bonus stuff for the book releases.
Yeah, because I think we mentioned it back in November.
They had some for the Omen of the Stars as well. I almost called it Fault in Our Stars. That's not it.
Yeah, for the collector's edition of The Apprentice's Quest, they had the book with sprayed edges.
Whoa.
A ThunderClan themed book stand, a collector's box, this card, a poster, a postcard, a diorama, and a scented candle.
Whoa!
Oh my God.
Let's go!
You know what's so funny? Guess what I also just found on the fucking page?
What?
It is an explanation of all of the leaves.
Oh my God!
On the previous cover. So for those who were wondering, the previous cover had sweet gum leaves, alder leaves, and marigold. Sweet gum leaves are the ones that
kind of look like weed, right?
Yeah, they're the 5-pointed leaf that, and they've got the 2 sweet gum leaves at the bottom for Violet Kit and Twig Kit. Marigold is the herb that Alderpaw used to treat Sandstorm's wound, a reminder of his first failure as a medicine cat. Ooh, that's brutal. They don't have one for this cover.
Oh, that's too bad.
I don't think. Oh, never mind. The artist said Rowan symbolizes Shadow Clan, while the blackberry is for Thunder Clan.
Oh, it's Rowan berries.
Yeah, for our good boy Rowan Star.
Oh, Rowan Star going through it. I tell you, the fuck what?
Yeah. Oh, bud.
Oh, buddy.
Anyway. Oh, shit. Come back. Can I order that? I'm not going to. Yeah, they have a version right now of Hawkwing's Journey up for pre-order that comes with a collector's card, a postcard, and a keychain.
Oh.
Man, when can we get cool pre-order stuff with our books? I'm so bitter. Anyway, should we get into this? We've gotten so...
We're already 40. I'm 41 minutes into my recording already.
All right. Let's get into the summary of this book. Because let me tell you, listeners, some fucking nonsense goes down.
Tell me about it.
In the prologue, Echo Song muses over a new prophecy in conjunction with the one she already knows, wondering how SkyClan might find their way to the lake and how the 5-pointed leaves are meant to help lead them there. In the Lake Territories, Rowan Star comes to ThunderClan seeking help. Little Cloud is dying, and there is no Medicine Cat apprentice to take his place. Leafpool agrees to come to ShadowClan in order to help Grassheart have her kits, and Alderpaw comes with her to help carry the herbs. Before they leave, Bramblestar tells Alderpaw that another patrol is being sent out to look for SkyClan, and Twigkit gives Alderpaw a feather to take to Violetkit as a memento. After the kitting, Leafpool is asked to stay in ShadowClan and help train Puddlekit, who's been selected to become the next Medicine Cat, as Little Cloud is nearing his death and cannot train an apprentice. Alderpaw talks to Violetkit and Needlepaw, and they decide to bring the kits out at night to meet in secret at the border. When the patrol to find SkyClan returns, Alderpaw is disappointed to learn that there was no sign of the missing clan. His musing on this, as well as his musing on Jayfeather being rude to Twigkit, is interrupted when news reaches the camp of rogues fighting WindClan. ThunderClan goes to help the other clan against the rogues, and it turns out to be Darktail's group. Fur's Pelt of WindClan is killed, and 1 star loses a life. The wounded WindClan cats come back to ThunderClan's camp to recover, and Alderpaw tells Bramblestar that he'd met Darktail back in the gorge. Patrols go out to warn each clan, and Alderpaw learns of Little Cloud's death when he visits ShadowClan. Violetkit is lonely and trying to find her place within ShadowClan, and one day Needlepaw takes her out into the forest for a special adventure, which turns out to be a meeting with some of the rogues from Darktail's group. At the time of the Half Moon Gathering, Kestrel Flight is accompanied by a warrior escort to the moon pool, and it seems that 1 star has become incredibly paranoid about the rogues. Leafpool reveals to Alderpaw that the young cats in ShadowClan seem to have no respect for their mentors or the code, and Alderpaw can't help but worry about Violetkit being raised there. Soon after, in ShadowClan, the rogues enter the camp asking to join. When they're refused, Needlepaw and several of the apprentices say they're going to join the rogues, and they're going to take Violetkit with them. Four moons pass. Twigpaw is an apprentice now, and soon finds that Violetkit has been named Violet Paw, and is being trained by Needletail with the rogues. Violet Paw witnesses Darktail blind Rain one of the other rogues, and decides that the life there is not one that she wants. She leaves to return to ShadowClan, where she is welcomed back, only to find that the clan is stricken with sickness. At the gathering, Crowfrost represents ShadowClan, as Rowan Star is too sick to leave the camp, and they beg from WindClan, as the herb they need is only grown on the moor. 1 star refuses, claiming that ShadowClan isn't doing enough to get the rogues out of the territories. Twigpaw is caught sneaking into the ShadowClan camp, and is held hostage in order to try and get ThunderClan to get the Lungwort from WindClan. Cats in ShadowClan continue to die, including Crowfrost the deputy, which leads to Tigerheart being named deputy in his stead. Twigpaw is eventually returned to ThunderClan. At the Half Moon Gathering, Hairspring and Kestrel Flight help the other medicine cats gather Lungwort in secret, and Jayfeather praises Alderpaw for sticking up for his beliefs. Before the gathering, Darktail and his rogues enter ShadowClan camp again. Rowan Star fights Darktail, along with Tawny Pelt and Tigerheart, but none of the other ShadowClan cats follow their leader. They have rejected Rowan Star's rule, and decide to let Darktail and his cats make their home there in the camp. Violet Paw wants to follow her leader to the gathering, but decides to stay with the rogues because Needletail is there too. Rowan Star, Tigerheart, and Tawny Pelt come to stay with ThunderClan, as they are not welcome back in their own territory, and Alderpaw is given his full name, Alderheart. As he shares tongues with StarClan, he is reaffirmed in his quest to search for SkyClan. Gamers, there was so much in this book that I had to like cut out of this summary.
There is so much going on. I had forgotten we just get a full 4-month time jump in the middle of the book. It's crazy.
It's so wild because it happens immediately after Violet Kit is like taken to live with the rogues.
I know.
Against her will, and we just don't get any of her POV for that.
Yeah, there's just 4 months there that we just do not get to see, even though Violet Kit and Twig Kit are both POV characters in this book.
Yeah.
And I think we've had a lot of issues with pacing and with time skips and things in the series before. I personally feel like it works really, really well here.
Oh, yeah. I think this one fucked, actually.
Yeah.
This was really good.
Overall thoughts, I really like this one.
I loved this book.
It's so different and so fun.
It really is. They are taking some like real new directions, I feel like, in this arc so far with like plot points that they can do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really enjoyable. Rest in peace, Little Cloud.
Man. I mean, I know he was old, but
he's old as fuck though.
He was old as fuck. He made it. He made it a long time. So yeah, since the third Prophecies Begin book, I think. So he's
because he was inspired by Cinderpaw
to become a medicine cat, which is still so good. So that's he made it through 5 whole arcs.
You know what? Rip to a real one.
I
do think it is crazy work that he never trained an apprentice, though.
He had
Flametail, but
but the fact that he never chose anybody else after Flametail, I think is really
it's really telling about like how that affected him.
Mm-hmm.
It's also crazy work because he was super old then.
Yeah, extremely irresponsible of him because Leafpool has to come in here and train Doogie Howser to be Shadow Clan's medicine cat now.
No, not Doogie Howser. Oh my god, it's true.
Because he gets his full medicine cat name at
he gets his full medicine cat name before Alderpaw.
At 9 months old, yeah.
Yeah, this poor boy.
Goosefeather 2.0.
Just picking a kit to become the medicine cat.
Oh,
this boy there was no sign that this cat would be able to talk to StarClan. They were just we need an apprentice. You're almost apprentice age.
Puddlepaw, that one.
You're smart. That one.
And that's why I think I am so Puddlepaw is one of my, or Puddleshine is one of my one of the background characters or the, not major characters of these later series that I am so fascinated by. I think his whole arc is so interesting, and the whole thing of just being picked, that one, I guess we got nothing else to go on. Our medicine cat died. He didn't ever get any signs from StarClan. He didn't give us any advice on who it should be.
So this one,
I guess. And then you have to be trained in 3 months, and that's all the training you're getting. Yeah, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. Worth mentioning that this is, in those old allegiances that we were looking at in the last arc, in the last episode, we had seen that Puddlepaw had, in the initial allegiances, been listed as Little Cloud's apprentice. And I bet that it was a thing that in between those two, they sort of broke the story on we want to actually do this much weirder thing with the Shadow Clan medicine cat succession than just having him be Little Cloud's apprentice coming into the arc. And I think that was really a fun move.
I think that was a really good choice. Mm-hmm. Really, really fun thing. Yeah. Wow. What a fucking So here's the thing. So usually, as you know, I read the whole book the day of. This one I had actually read like, I think the first third, and then took a week and then read more of it. So I had like fully forgotten that like the battle with the rogues and Wind Clan and Leafpool leaving to go to Shadow Clan was not like an entirely separate book, because it is enough to be an entirely separate book.
It is. They pack
and I was
so
like,
much in here.
Oh my God, that was all this book?
It's crazy.
There's so much.
And this is why, related to that a little bit, but also just related to structure. You know, we were talking a little bit about structure, how this is like a really different feeling structure and story and stuff in this book. This is why I said in the last episode that I feel like Apprentice's Quest is the weakest one of the arc, because Apprentice's Quest is the one that feels the most traditionally warrior cats. And so it almost doesn't even feel like it fits with the rest of the arc, because the rest of the arc feels a lot more like this book than it does like Apprentice's Quest in my memory. So I'm so excited to see more of this shit. I'm just delighted.
Yeah, this is just crazy book. Craziness. Let's see. What notes do I have?
It is worth talking about the feather a little more.
Yeah.
This connection between, so Twigpaw gets a red feather that she gives to Alderpaw to bring to Violet Paw, or I guess they're both kits still at this point. Time and names change a lot in this book.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that they very clearly were not editing, because Twig Kit is mentioned as Twigpaw so much.
Before she's ever apprenticed. But the sisters pass this feather, and the scene where she is so shut down in Shadow Clan's nursery, Violet Kit, is just... Everything about Violet Kit's arc is so devastatingly bleak and sad and heartbreaking. This is a just horribly neglected child. She's like completely shut down, and then Alderpaw brings this feather, and she immediately starts like talking to Alderpaw and asking about stuff. And her adoptive mother in Shadow Clan is like, I didn't even know that she like had anything to say ever. She doesn't talk to me. It's so sad. It's brutal.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like, and I've only read the first two books in this arc, so I can't say if that's going to be, if this is like a core theme of this particular arc, but it feels so much like this arc is about, like, how do we fuck up children? Like, let's examine the ways in which society fucks up kids and how that impacts them and how they grow and learn.
Yeah, dog.
Because there is just so much so far of like, just there's so much sibling stuff. There's so much like stuff about parentage and knowing if you belong and like feeling like an outsider even when you're being accepted, and like, oh, it's just so fucking good, dude.
Yeah,
it's so fucking good. There's a scene where Violet Paw is helping Pine Nose because she's sick. And she's helping Puddle Shine like give herbs to all the sick cats, and she's helping Pine Nose, and Pine Nose is like keeps mistaking Violet Paw for one of her other kits. And Violet Paw is just like, no, it's Needle Paw who's helping out, right?
It's Twig Paw.
Twig Paw is helping out. And the fact that like there's a comment made that like she asked for all of her kits except for Violet Paw.
Yeah, Pine Nose was asking for all of her kits, but she never asked for you, Violet Paw, like essentially, because Pine Nose is the
her foster mother.
Her foster mother, yeah.
It's crazy.
Even just in like that first scene with the feather, where Pine Nose says at one point, Alderpaw says, "This is a present from your sister," and Violet Paw, slightly confused, is like, or Violet Kit, kind of confused, is like, Lion Kit? My sister Lion Kit? And Pine Nose just goes, Lion Kit is not your sister. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
There's so many moments where we get to see these parallels between what Twig Kit is getting in ThunderClan versus what Violet Kit is getting in Shadow Clan, as far as love, attention, belonging. And even Twigkit has these moments where she feels ostracized in some way, but it's so starkly different from how completely like separate from the rest of ShadowClan Violet Kit ends up feeling.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason that she latches on so hard to Needlepaw in a lot of these.
Yeah, and so this was something that I noticed a lot of when I was looking at like, and we'll talk about this when we get to the reviews, but that's something I noticed a lot when I was looking at the reviews. It was people were like, Violet Paw's driving me crazy. She just keeps going back and forth. And I'm like, this child has abandonment issues. Like, she's going to latch on to the person who's going to stick with her.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. She is in sort of a toxic relationship here.
It's 100%. Yeah. She's going to latch on to the
codependent, toxic sort of thing. And like, no matter how many times Needletail is over here, like, betraying her, basically, she's also the only one who is, like, treating her like an actual person. So she's going to keep, like, following her.
Yeah, it's brutal, but it's
crazy.
It's
so good.
It's so, yeah, it's really good writing. Like, it's really good characterization. It's really, like, it feels like they know what they're doing with it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's not something that's just coming out coincidentally. It feels like something the authors are very intentionally
It is very
working
deliberate.
through.
Yeah. Oh, man. So good.
Even just the ways every time Violet Kit like makes some excuse for Needlepaw's behavior just drives another fucking needle through my heart. Talk about needles.
Yeah. Talk about freaking needles.
I would love to hear if you have any additional like thoughts about Needlepaw in this book, because I know you were really, really interested in Needlepaw in the last book.
Yeah, I'm still not like, I feel like there is more to her that I just don't quite understand. Like, I feel like there's got to be something else that has made her the way she is. Sorry, I just wanted to point out one of the moments where Violet Paw is like deciding to stay with Needletail and the Darktail rogues is that like Needletail says they're not my kin like you are. And I'm like, okay, that is fucking
extremely manipulative.
Extremely manipulative. It's so good. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's all good.
This girl has got some wild ass things going on. I want to know if there is a reason that she is the way she is, or if it is simply like the fact that she was just born at this time in ShadowClan where the scale of power is like just so kind of fucked up. And I think making her an only Kit now kind of helps with that a little bit. Is like, oh, okay, so, you know, all of these other apprentices like have their siblings and whatnot. She has been like, she's an only child and she is, you know, finding people who are saying that she is special. Like, not special in the way that Violet Kit and Twig Kit are told they're special, but like she meets the rogues and they're like, oh yeah, you're pretty cool. Like, you should come hang out with us.
And she clearly has, you know, a big old crush on Rain.
Got a big old crush on Rain. Damn, that scene where Rain gets his eyeball ripped was like fucked up.
It's so fucked up. If I were Violet Paw, I would leave too.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah, I still am very compelled and fascinated by Needletail. I think she's fascinating.
Yeah.
I want to study her under a microscope.
She really is. It is like, what is going on in that noggin of hers?
In that head of yours.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to read the bonus chapters before?
I did. Yes.
Because this might be, since we're talking about Needletail, it's a good moment to talk about these probably. Does that sound okay?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I got to read them too, and I am of two minds. One is, I do think that it gave me like additional sort of texture and a little bit of insight into some reasons that Needlepaw might be the way that she is and sort of feel separate in these ways because of the experience she had here. But also, it's so hard to take these two bonus chapters as canonical with how fucking not the story of Tree, the tree bit is.
I have to imagine it's a lie. Like, I just had to tell myself that, like, oh yeah, Tree is just, like, lying about his childhood.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, and I think
but, like, I know that's
actually
not what was happening.
It actually comes because this was, like, the first thing that they wrote about Tree, right? So
yeah. So, like, I know that's not the truth, but I have to, like, just tell myself that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's either you just, like, completely ignore everything Tree says, basically, about his past in these bonus chapters, or you're like, no, he was telling a lie to, like,
not have to explain his whole
there's a lot
fucked up backstory.
Yeah, there's a lot of explaining to do with the sisters, so I can see that being the thing. But it is weird that he wouldn't. I think the part of like not ever mentioning his dad is the part where I think that it's just a lie kind of falls a little flat for me. Yeah, but it is like the best option that we have for squaring the circle of these two diverging.
The other thing I have with this particular thing is, why the fuck were these bonus chapters? They feel a little too important.
They do
just be like extraneous information.
Yeah.
Which I guess it's hard to toe that line of like what is important enough to like be worth it as a bonus chapter versus like not important enough to be part of the like quote unquote canon material, because we talked about the fucking squirrel flight one last time being like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Great.
Woman goes through woman realizes woman goes through pregnancy hormones, the 2 chapters. So yeah, it is a weird line that they have to toe here. Yeah.
But it really does, like, there's a lot of stuff here where it's like Needlepaw thought that her clan was going to come looking for her, and Tree ended up being the one to lead her back after she was carried off by an owl, somehow getting 2 days away from the lake, which also doesn't make sense.
How fast
can an owl fly?
Yeah.
But she has this moment.
Owls are not known for their speed.
Yeah. And how many miles a day can a cat walk?
Okay, owls top out at around 40 miles an hour. Cats top out at about 30. So
owls top out at what? I'm sorry, what did you say?
About 40 miles an hour.
40 miles an hour. So they go, okay, 40 miles.
But cats top out at 30. So
they go fast. I mean,
cats go pretty fast too.
Neither of them can be.
It doesn't seem correct.
None of it seems. It all seems. That's just so far to be carried by an owl in such a short amount of time that then it's 2 days to get back to the lake.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wild thing to happen.
It is wild.
A wild thing.
But the thing that it sort of ends up, the lesson that Needlepaw ends up learning here is like, oh, I thought they were going to come get me. They just assumed that I was dead. And like, it's not necessarily unfair for Shadow Clan to have assumed that she was dead, considering that we have never seen a cat carried off by a large bird and it's ended well for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's this moment of like soft betrayal for Needlepaw here, where she's like, oh, they weren't gonna come get me. I was waiting for them and they weren't looking for me. They didn't even send out a search party. And I feel like that really highlights the sort of feeling that you get from Needletail within Shadow Clan.
It is very much a like every man for himself kind of thing.
Yeah, and where she feels like she is, Alderpaw talks about in the previous book that she feels lonely, like there's something lonely about her. I think that these bonus chapters speak to some of the like reason behind that loneliness.
Absolutely.
And we get a little more Tree here, which I always love to see. But again,
love Tree.
I love Tree. I love Tree.
I love He's such a weirdo. Man, I love this guy. He's such a goofball.
I know.
He's like, I like trees, so my name is Tree. It's like, damn, dude. All right. Hell yeah.
Once again.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Once again, very trans-coded.
Once again, so trans of you, sir.
Extremely trans of Tree.
Yeah. Wow. Craziness.
Yeah. That's what I got. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about the bonus chapters.
I would like to mention Twig Kit.
Yeah.
Feeling so sad. The fact that she's like, if I'm not special, the clan won't want me anymore. Like, oh god, you guys fucked up these babies so early.
I know.
What have you done?
There's one point where Twig Kit is basically thinking, I have to be special because if I'm not special, then what was the point of my sister being taken away from me?
Literally.
That's not a thing that a baby should have to be thinking about and saying.
A baby should not be thinking these things. Yeah, it was just like, and there's a moment where at the end where Violet Paw is like, you always have to feel close to someone. And it's like, yeah, because she's so sad and lonely. Oh my god.
I think around that same time is when Twigpaw thinks, when had Violet Paw stopped expecting to be loved?
Yeah.
Whoa. Like, the speed and intensity with which these children are fucked up is just astounding.
Yeah, they really, did a number on these kids. Man, they make me so sad.
They're
sisters.
So sad.
Oh, Lord help me.
The moments with Alderpaw and Twig Kit, however, almost every one of them just warms my heart. He is so tender with her. Again, he is mom. I will not be taking any questions. That is a mother to me. The Erins don't know it, but they made a boy a mom.
Yeah, he loves that baby girl.
He loves her so much. And he loves Violet Kit so much too, even though they can't live together. Like, it's just the amount of care that he has for these two kits is really a highlight of his characterization for me. I just think it speaks so much to who he is as a character.
Mm-hmm.
And that he doesn't do, it's a very common trope with masculine characters where it would be like, it wouldn't be uncommon for you to see a boy be like, no, I'm not doing child rearing.
I'm not doing this child stuff. Like, I'm not playing.
And I'm not doing baby stuff. Yeah, I don't want to do, you see kids of any gender, but more commonly in media you see young boys portrayed this way of, I don't want to play with you. I'm too old for that. And he is just so tuned into what, trying to make Twig Kit's life better to the point where Jay Feather is like, get this child out of the fucking medicine cat den.
Yeah. He's so tired of this child running around.
I guess I only trip over her 3 or 4 times a day. Exquisite Jay Feather line.
Incredible. Oh, Lord. Jay Feather really is on one with his lines. He's so fucking funny. I love this guy.
So funny. I feel like he, being a mentor, being a medicine cat mentor, he has it's somehow peak Jay Feather. Giving him somebody to teach has just completely, it's like a clarified diamond of Jay Feather.
He's like grumpy old man status 2000%.
Mm-hmm.
Love that guy.
Even the moments where he'll be like, Alderpaw, focus in, remember what I'm trying to teach you right now, please.
Hey, kid, shut the fuck up and listen.
And him being so, I was just going to say, him being so grumpy about Leaf Pool having to go to Shadow Clan, also really good.
That was such a fun little choice, I feel.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But what were you about to say?
I was going to start talking about the background bits we get, just a couple little nuggets of background Dovewing and Ivy Pool stuff.
Yes.
I love that Ivy Pool is Twigpaw's mentor.
Yes!
I think it's so cute. I think she is just so good with him or her. She's just so good with Twigpaw.
She really is. She's such a good mentor.
Twigpaw's over here like starting to get in trouble, and Ivy Pool's like, all right, just, you know, if you're gonna get in trouble, at least make sure I'm there to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to see some like Ivy Pool and Fern Song flirting, and they're so cute when they're flirting together.
Fern Song is like such a soft, like golden
Soft boy.
retriever presence compared to Ivy Pool, and I just love it so much. I really like their dynamic.
Yeah, so they're getting ready. They're taking a little journey because Alderpaw is like, I want to see if we can find any like idea of what happened to my mom. And they're like, you know what? Sure. And Fern Song and Ivy Pool go along. And Ivy Pool is like talking to him about the traveling herbs. And she's like, hopefully they'll give you enough strength to protect us. That's why you're coming, isn't it? And he's like, I hoped you would protect me. And she's like, if you're nice, I might do that. And I'm like, you guys are so cute. Stop. It's adorable.
It's really cute.
They're so flippin' cute. He's so sweet. And he's so sweet on her. It's adorable.
So
I love it
sweet
so
on her.
much. I love them together. They're very cute.
They're really good.
Even if we like barely get any sign of it, every moment we have with them is just very adorable.
It's really nice.
They have a great back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then we have some Tigerheart and Dovewing hints.
The crumbs.
Just constantly like being peppered in here. And then there's a moment at the end when Tigerheart and Tawny Pelt and Rowan Star are all staying in the camp. And Ivy Pool gossiping with her apprentice is so funny to me. She's just like,
so good.
Twigpaw, I'm going to tell you about my sister's ex-situationship. Because she's literally like, I wish Tigerheart would go home soon. And Twigpaw's like, huh? And Ivy Pool's like, he and Dovewing had a thing at one point. I'm like, you really shouldn't be saying this. Like, you really shouldn't say something like that. That is, cats have been killed for worse.
It does feel like Ivy Pool is like, I need somebody to tell about this because it's driving me crazy. I've been holding it
nuts.
I've been holding it inside of me for all of this time for like 3.5 years. And I need to tell somebody about this shit. Can you believe this shit?
Yeah, she's literally like, they had feelings for each other. And Twigpaw's like, they liked each other? And she's like, it was a little more than that. I'm like, Ivy Pool, that is your sister. Stop airing out her dirty laundry to this kid. It's so funny to me.
It's really good. It's so fun to think about the depth of baggage that Ivy Pool and Tigerheart have because of being in the dark forest together, because of the whole thing where Ivy Pool was going to kill the spirit of Tigerheart's brother in order to keep her cover safe. You know, so they've been, you know, kind of on the outs since then, but then before that they also were like really in sync with their fighting and stuff because they were you know, in the dark forest together. There's so much texture to all three of them together, to Dovewing and Tigerheart and Ivy Pool. There's so much texture there that's just like, I am yum, 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 yum. I am nibbling all of the little crumbs off the ground. I'm a starving little rat. I am just hum, nom, 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 eating it up.
It's really, really good. Oh, man. I think I only have one more big point that I want to make for this book. So whatever else you have, I would love to discuss.
All right. I have a few quick things that I'll rattle off. One, anytime Alderpaw was interacting with Needlepaw near the beginning of this book, he had the most shoujo manga protagonist energy.
Oh, I love him. God bless him. This boy.
Where he's just like getting flustered about her and like looking at her out of the corner of his eye and being like, I wonder what Needlepaw is up to. And like, what is she thinking right now? What does that expression mean? It's all so like extremely shoujo manga. It made me really happy. And then I had another funny Alderpaw moment where later he is coming to visit Shadow Clan for a purpose, and he is looking for Leafpool, and an apprentice is escorting him to ShadowClan's camp. And she's like, Leafpool will be back there. If she's back from gathering herbs, she'll be in there. If not, you're gonna have to wait. I'm not escorting you all over the territory looking for her. And Alderpaw's like, thanks. And it says specifically, Alderpaw made a face at the ShadowClan apprentice as she stalked away. I loved this so much. I actually did fan art of it, which I will post when we put this episode out. I love
very good.
Just Alderpaw fucking like saying thanks and then being like, nah, as she goes away because she's being so annoying is really good. And then another Yellow Fang L. She's not as bad as she has been in previous books, but we did get a Yellow Fang L near the end of this one.
Yeah.
But I don't have much more to say on that except for that it was an L for Yellow Fang. And then my last big point. It's not super big.
I think we have the same last big point.
Is it about the scene in the road?
Oh no, it's about a particular leader.
Ah, yes. But the scene where they go looking for Twigpaw and Violetpaw's mother for any evidence of her, and there is this scene where they're back at the Thunderpath, they're back at the road, and they see a cat that's just sitting in the middle of the road. And they are like, why is that cat just sitting there? You know, it's not moving. The monsters are coming, blah, 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 blah. And they have this moment where Twigpaw almost runs out into the road to save this cat. They pull her back. The car drives by, and then there is sort of a description of, you know, like fluff or whatever. And we realize, as readers, it was a stuffed cat. It wasn't
I did not
cat.
realize that. I was like, what the fuck is this supposed to be? I thought it was like a fucking ghost. I didn't even realize it was a stuffed cat, but you're so right. That is exactly what it is.
Yeah, I really liked and it is easy to miss because it is a heavily abstracted like metaphorization of Twigpaw sees this happen and realizes like, oh, my mother is dead. My mother was hit by a car at some point in the past because this is a dangerous place and a cat would not survive. You know, like this is clearly something like this happened, but the use of it being a stuffed cat in the middle of the road that they just kind of see the stuffed cat get obliterated, and that makes it sink in. There was something about that was really effective to me that I really liked.
Oh, I agree. I thought that was a really good scene. I just was also a dumb idiot.
Well, we do have a moment earlier in this book where we do hear the ghost of Pebbleshine speak to Twigpaw in a near-death moment, which hey, we got another cat trying to go in the dang lake to prove themselves. Welcome back to J Feather.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to J-Paw did this. Twigpaw does this. Twigpaw.
Oh, shoot. That actually reminds me of the second point I do want to make.
Cool.
Because we talked about this earlier about how we need to talk about the parallels.
Yes. Talk to me about the parallels here with ShadowClan and the sickness.
Yeah. So I was thinking earlier about the fact that, because we were talking about, like, this isn't the first time ShadowClan has had to deal with a lot of sickness, but it is very similar to when Nightstar was the leader.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's a lot of parallels there that Nightstar was ousted basically by Tigerclaw.
Yeah.
Who was like, I'm going to save you all from this sickness. Nightstar was like, basically, you know, he got that sickness done took him.
And sickness done took him. He didn't even have like he didn't even have the additional lives to try and you know, wait it out the way that we see Rowan Star do here, because StarClan wouldn't give him his fucking 9 lives.
But yeah, and then we get a moment in this book where Rowan Star is losing life after life because he is so sick that he just keeps dying and getting sick again and coming back.
Brutal.
Yeah. So I just thought it was an interesting parallel because, you know, Tiger Claw came in with his rogues. Darktail's coming in with his rogues. And now we've got Tiger Heart as the technical deputy of Shadow Clan. I just think it's a very interesting, like, it is new because we actually are the ones to see it happen this time.
Yes.
And it is definitely a different situation from, like, I don't know. I only partly know Darktail's motivations, and that's because I, like, know some spoilers. But, like, I feel that their motivations are very, very different here. But it is just interesting that this is happening specifically to Shadow Clan again, and it feels less of a recycled plotline and more of a more of a parallel.
Yeah, it feels purposeful.
As well as, like, the fact that and this is me giving way too much credit, I feel like. This is me taking way too deep a dig into things. But I think that combined with the fact that the cats have, like, the young cats of Shadow Clan have such a lack of respect for their elders and the code and everything like that, just makes me feel like this is one of those, like, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it sort of thing.
Oh, I like that read a lot.
So I just think that was an interesting thing to kind of consider and roll around in my brain this afternoon.
Yeah, and I mean, we mentioned it briefly earlier, but that also was the that sickness that took Nightstar and, you know, totally ended up shaking up Shadow Clan in that first arc is also where we had a ThunderClan medicine cat helping cats from Shadow Clan, and that inspired Little Cloud through Cinderpelt to become medicine cat, and we lose Little Cloud here directly before the yellow cough epidemic sets in. Running Nose is the one that comes in to tell Puddleshine that they lungwort. And Running Nose would have been, you know, there during that. He was there during that, the previous epidemic, the sickness in Shadow Clan. There's a lot of juice there, I think. Yeah. And then our final thing on the docket today, 1 star.
Oh man, this
fucking guy.
This guy, he is such a bitch.
Unbelievable out-of-pocket behavior.
I don't have anything more to say about him other than just, like, he is peak what the fuck is going on with this character.
What is going on?
He is so fucking paranoid.
Closing the borders.
Yeah, we're closing the borders. Everybody has to have an escort. I'm going to blame everyone else for my problems. Because he literally, I think the moment that just made me go, like, oh my god, what a bitch, is they're all talking at the gathering, and Shadow Clan's like, we need the lungwort, please. Our clan is dying. And he's like, absolutely fucking not, because you're not doing anything about those rogues, and they took my life, and I cannot let that stand. I'm not gonna do anything about it. But you're not doing anything about it, so I'm not gonna help you out.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Mothwing is like, okay, well, what if I need lungwort? And she's like, he's like, as long as you don't give it to Shadow Clan, sure. I'm like, you fucking ass. Unbelievable behavior. I was just jaw dropped. Like, I cannot believe you.
It's all so petty and incomprehensible. There's no reason to act this way.
It's so petty.
There's no reason. And
I know we're gonna get into it.
There's just some stuff going on with him.
It is so funny to me that he's like, you guys aren't doing anything to solve my problem.
Unbelievable.
That I'm also not doing anything to solve.
It's untenable. It's just, I hate him. I hate him because I see what we could have had. Tallstar didn't want this. All of this is what Tallstar was trying to avoid.
To prevent. Yeah, literally.
And I think that I've come around on it. I used to just be really, really frustrated about this. I think that the sort of irony that they end up playing with here is actually there is like some juice that's interesting, but it's also so depressing.
Yeah.
To just see how badly that was such a contentious decision at the time. It was the last thing that Tallstar did before he died, and here we fucking are, and what's happening? The exact thing that Tallstar didn't want.
Yeah. Oh boy. One star, man. Real one though is Hairspring. I mentioned this earlier.
Hairspring, the goat.
When we were chatting, is Hairspring's a real one. This guy, like, yeah, I fuck with him.
I fuck with Hairspring. He comes out here and he's like, yeah, we should just give them the lungwort. We'll just bring the lungwort like to the moon pool, essentially. Though they don't end up doing that because Kestrel Wing. Wait, is it Kestrel Wing? Kestrel Flight?
Kestrel Flight.
Kestrel Flight. Kestrel Flight. Waiting to be like, I gotta ask Mom if it's okay. Starkland, is it okay if I go against my leader's orders?
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy. He's doing his best.
He's trying.
He's trying so hard. He's got his work cut out for him in that fucking clan, I tell you what.
He really does. Good lord. I would not want to be him.
No, I would not want to be him. But yeah, Hairspring basically sort of hatches this plan behind One Star's back to be like, no, we're just going to give him the lungwort. This is insane.
Yeah.
And he's right. So shout out to Hairspring.
Oh, man. But other than complaining about One Star, which I feel like is just going to become a theme this arc, that's really all I had to say. I really loved this book. I think it was a really solid main series entry.
Yeah, this is the first one in that we've read in a while where I was really like, every time a chapter ended, I would go like, oh, I got to keep reading. I got to see what's happening next.
And it's just chock-a-block full of stuff going on.
So much stuff going on. I mean, listeners, you've heard us jump back and forth all around this book because there's just like so much and so many things to touch on. But yeah, I liked this one a whole lot.
Me too.
And I have started reading the next one and am excited for that one too because I think we're going to have some more stuff to chew on. And I ain't even got that far yet.
Looking forward to it.
Should I take us to the Erin Corner?
I would love if you took us to the Erin Corner.
All right, just a little baby Erin Corner this week. First thing I found was a quote from Kate Carey saying she favors Alderheart over Sparkpelt, specifically because he's a worrier. I feel you, Kate.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I feel you.
Mood.
Yeah.
Same.
Also, Kate had originally suggested Sparkfire as Sparkpelt's warrior name. It was rejected by HarperCollins, I guess, but they put it in. There's a line in the book where Greystripe is like, I thought maybe they would name her Sparkfire because she looks so much like Firestar. And so they put that in as a little Easter egg to Kate's original idea for what her what Sparkpelt's warrior name would be. And I thought
I'm
that was
glad
fun.
it was not Sparkfire.
I don't think Sparkfire is a particularly good warrior cat name. It's just a little too on the nose.
It's a little too.
I don't think Sparkpelt is great either, but it's better than Sparkfire.
Yeah, it feels pelt as a suffix feels a little like dull.
Yeah. Yeah, it tends to,
especially for
a
cat who is like so closely related to Firestar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could have done like, I feel like Sparkfire is bad, but Sparkflame would be better.
Sparkflame I could probably get behind. I do think it has a better ring than Sparkfire, at least. It still feels a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. It's a little on the nose, but if you were going to go that route, I feel like Flame would be better than Fire.
Yeah, I can feel that. Sparkpelt also just makes me feel like she's full of static electricity.
She's a cartoon electrocuted cat.
Mm-hmm. Those two things are all I found for the Erin Corner this week, so that's all I've got for us. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I don't have a ton, but I do have a few things. When I was searching for Thunder and Shadow on Tumblr, apparently there is a Final Fantasy XVI fic with the same name that some people were making fan art of, so that was fun.
Wow.
This one is Rowan Star fighting Darktail at the climax of Thunder and Shadow. And it is a screenshot of a post that says, guy visibly getting his ass wrecked in a fist fight, but he's talking shit about the other guy like he's winning. Supremely Rowan Star fighting Darktail.
Absolutely. I feel so bad for Rowan Star.
I felt horrible for him because he is putting his all into this, and then he looks around and he's like, hey, what the fuck are y'all doing? Just
it's
standing
brutal.
around.
I really feel like Rowan Star doesn't... I feel like they don't give him, like, a chance to shine and, like, do anything that is cool. Like, they don't let him be cool.
For all intents and purposes, like, he seems like a really good Shadow Clan leader, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Like,
I feel like that
of all the Shadow Clan leaders, he's the most willing to, like, not be the stick in the mud pain in the ass.
Yeah, this is also how I feel about him.
That's 1 star's job.
Yeah,
that's 1 star's job now.
This is also how I feel about him, but I have actually, sort of this is a little bonus Erin Corner thing. I've seen in somewhere on in an article on the Warrior Cats official website where they have like something about Shadow Clan, and they mention in there like Rowan Star, an extremely weak leader, and I'm like, I don't think he did that bad, guys.
Yeah, no, he was fine.
He's doing his best. Does his best. And then we have another comment. It's such a breath of fresh air to have Sparkpelt, Alderheart, and Needletail all have their full names by the end of the 2nd book in this arc, rather than having them spend half the series as apprentices. And I 100% agree. Yeah.
That's why I'm like actually super chill about the fact that there was a 4-moon time skip. I'm like, yeah, actually, I really didn't want to spend a whole arc exploring what it's like to be a medicine cat apprentice again.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one of that's part of the reason I think that the time skips work so well is because it is giving us a chance to be like, we don't have to see this again. We have talked a lot about the apprenticehood, a whole bunch of this, a whole bunch of apprenticehood again. Okay.
Here we go, I guess.
All right. Okie dokie. So I do not, I agree with this post.
Mm-hmm. Approved. This next post, there are a couple of mentions of like how good a choice Ivy Pool is as a mentor for Twigpaw.
Mm-hmm.
This post really like hit it on for me, as well as a review, I think later. No, maybe it was a review I saw elsewhere. Anyway, the fact that like Ivy Pool is such a good choice for her because she knows what it's like to wonder why you're not special, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
But this post specifically says, watching this battle-hardened ex-spy who was literally trained in hell, exasperatingly but lovingly follow this naive dumbass kid with a heart too big for her chest and pulling her out of trouble is so funny to me.
It's so good.
Twigpaw tries to run into the road after seeing a vision of a cat getting hit. Ivy Pool, fuck, my child!
Yes!
Twigpaw goes missing. Ivy Pool, fully aware that the last time this happened, her dumbass apprentice took a dive into the lake. This is fine. Twigpaw decides to illegally visit her sister in an already hostile clan that furthermore is about to be taken over by murderous rogues. Ivy Pool, I'm obviously not going to be able to stop you, but like hell am I gonna let you go alone after experiencing that? This one, Rain, are you in charge of this child? Ivy Pool, yep. Rain, why did you let her come out here? Look at her for 2 minutes, then look me in the eyes. Tell me you could do jack shit about this.
It sounds really good.
And then there's a moment where Needletail attacks Twigpaw, and Ivy Pool is like, the fuck do you think you're doing?
Yeah,
that is
Ivy Pool,
my kid.
Ivy Pool goes crazy on her ass, and it's so good.
I loved it. It was so fun.
It was such an unnecessary. It was such an unnecessary swipe at Twigpaw too.
It really was. I love Ivy Pool as Twigpaw's mentor. She's great.
She's so good. I love Ivy Pool.
Yeah, me too. This one is that scene from Brooklyn Nine-Nine where Rosa is holding the dog, and it says, I've only had Violet Kit for a day and a half, but if anything happened to her, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself. And I 100% agree. That is how we feel about dear Violet Paw.
Yeah. Oh, baby.
Oh. What a babby. AO3 was pretty sparse. 5 fics for this book specifically. 4 for the pairing of Needletail and Rain. 20 for the platonic relationship between Needletail and Violet Paw. Crowfrost has 8 fics.
Shout out to my guy, I guess.
Shout out to my guy Crowfrost. Also, not gonna lie, I forgot that Crowfrost and Dawn Pelt were mates. Their ship has 5 fics. There's only 3 for the platonic relationship between Twigpaw and Violet Paw, and I feel like that's got to be wrong.
That does not seem right. Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
That does not seem correct. But yeah, pretty sparse, but surprised. Good for you, Crowfrost. You were a real one.
You were a real one. The scene is very good where they are like at a they're holding vigil for another cat who has died, and he just starts fucking coughing like nobody's business, and everybody's like,
he
oh no,
falls to the ground
and then
passed out.
And then the next scene is like, and he died. He died that day. Basically, it wasn't right then, but
yeah, yeah, really, really clutch. Storygraph. We had 3.97 stars out of 552 reviews.
That's so many reviews.
That's so many.
People be reviewing these books.
They are the girlies are out here reviewing. As I mentioned earlier, people are pretty divided on Violet Paw. But I feel like a lot of it is like people assigning the character trait of like she can't decide what she wants when she is in fact being manipulated like crazy. Yeah,
people not
because
like
most of the people who are like, I don't like Violet Paw are like, she keeps changing her mind on where she wants to be. I'm like, yeah, she's being abused, but that's okay, cool, sure. This one says the series is doing something I haven't seen before in a Warriors plot, even after 5 series and countless special editions. The characters are continuing to be very developed and gray, which is sophisticated for the age range. And come on, there's eye gouging and the word flirtatiously in this one. How can I not love it? And this other review says, might be a controversial opinion, but this was probably the best main series Warrior Cats book I've read since The Darkest Hour, or at least since Long Shadows. The 3 POV characters are all intensely rootable, the conflict is rich and interesting from beginning to end, and the sheer amount of horrible jerks in this book is actually to its benefit. The antagonism feels real, and it adds to the intensity and believability of the dire situations the characters face. Bravo. I don't know if I would say this is my favorite main series book since Arc 1, but like I agree that this was a real banger. Yeah,
this is a real banger. I think there's so much pathos in here, I think, is the thing that's really hitting.
Yeah, but that's about all I found.
All right, shall we talk about our Warrior Cats of the Week then?
Let's talk about our Warrior Cats of the Week.
Tell me about your pick.
I picked Violet Paw.
Yeah. That was a good pick.
She makes me so sad, and I love her so much.
She's so sad.
I don't have much else to say except I love this little girl.
I love her too. That's a good pick. Mine this week is a double dip. I did Alderheart last time, but I got to do it again this time.
He's a good one.
Yeah, there are just so many moments in here where I like left an Alderheart scene being like, boy, I just love that boy. So I had to highlight him again. I think that he is I just think he's got a lot going on. He's already gone through so much growth since the first book as well. You know, there's still plenty of room for him to grow, but you can really see him coming into his own and starting to find his footing. And he's a mom. He's a mom to me, and that's very important. He's a mom. He's a shoujo manga protagonist. He is my rotten soldier, my big cheese. What is that? Sound
my
bite?
good time boy.
And then, yeah, Alderheart. That's mine.
Hell yeah. It's a good pick.
Thank you. Good picks for both of us. I love both of these sad cats.
Yeah, they're both excellent cats.
Honorable mention to Twigpaw, who I think is also great. She's the only one of the POV characters that isn't represented in the Warrior Cats of the Week here, but I think all 3 of them as POV characters are really good. I'm excited to see more in the next one.
Me too.
Shall I take us out? Let's go. If you have thoughts, opinions, questions, or memes to share with us, you can write to us at pawsandclawspod@gmail.com. That's paws as in what a cat has, claws as in the part of speech, pod as in podcast. We are also on Blue Sky at Paws and Claws and on Tumblr at Paws Clause Pod. Listeners who are 18 years and older can come join us on Discord, which will be linked in the show notes. We are brought to you by the TWG Podcast Network, which you can find at theworstgarbage.online, and you can find me on Tumblr or Blue Sky at Humble Goat, and the art that I do, including our podcast cover art, at scoutwilkinson.myportfolio.com.
And you can find me on Blue Sky at plot-twists or on Tumblr at antique-romantic. Our next episode will be out in 2 weeks, where we will discuss A Vision of Shadows, Book 3, Shattered Sky. Read along by buying the book from a local bookstore or checking out a copy from your local library. Until then, dear listeners, may StarClan guide your paws.
TWG, the worst garbage, the online